Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, coming to you live from Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. President debunks claim of witch hunt in his administration's fight against corruption, challenges the legislature on new laws to give bite to the anti-corruption crusade. Succor for communities in Benue and other states ravaged by herdsmen attacks as the federal government earmarks 10 billion naira for reconstruction efforts. Leader of the Islamic Movement of Nigeria, Ibrahim El-Zakzaki, and his wife arraigned in a Kaduna court on 8 counts of alleged culpable homicide and unlawful assembly, among other charges. And Israel comes under international condemnation over Gaza violence deaths as Palestinian and Israeli envoys to the UN disagree over situation. Now, channelstv.com has more information for you on youtube.com/channelsweb. You can watch our videos. You can also watch us on your mobile device via your browser or download the Channels TV app for Android, iOS and Windows devices from their respective stores. Besides giving you access to news updates on the go, the Channels TV and Channels 24 app have an eyewitness feature that you can use to share pictures, videos or news of happenings around you. Just install the app, then tap and swipe to reveal the menu, and then follow the instructions. The federal government is to spend 10 billion naira to rebuild communities affected by recent clashes between herdsmen and farmers in Benue and other states across the country. The Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, made the revelation in Makurdi, the Benue state capital, as he begins a 2-day assessment of the humanitarian crisis in the state. Professor Osinbajo is expected to visit some of the displaced persons camps and also hold a meeting with various stakeholders in Benue State.
As part of the work of the Food Security Council, which the President constituted, he has approved some money for the rebuilding of homes and also for the restoration of farms. The total amount of money is not just for Benue State, but is for some other states that have been affected by these types of crises, by the killings and some, of course, of the burning of houses, destruction of houses. In total, he has approved the sum of 10 billion naira. As citizens of this country, we as government have a duty to make sure that you are secure, that will provide you with security, and where your homes have been destroyed, we'll rebuild those homes. Where you have lost farmlands, we'll restore those farmlands. And it is, as I said, is our duty to do so, and we will do so.
And as reconstruction efforts continue, 5 members of the Civilian Joint Task Force in Benue State, Borno State, have been confirmed killed and several others injured as suicide bombers attacked a security checkpoint in Konduga local government area. Officials of the National Emergency Management Agency who confirmed the attack told Channels Television that the bombing was reportedly carried out by a male suicide bomber who hid his explosives between his thighs. NEMA coordinator in the northeast, Mr. Bashir Garga, explains how the bomber escaped from the security point.
Around 2 o'clock today at Mandarari, a checkpoint arena for civilian JTF, when all of a sudden the suicide bomber detonated his IED, and in the process got 5 senior officers of the civilian JTF killed and 5 others sustained injuries of varying degrees. You see, the problem, what is very conspicuous as far as people making comments around, is that they have the Boko Haram suicide bombers now have changed tactics. They no longer tie the thing on their belly, which often appear very conspicuous. This time around, it was suspected the suicide bomber planted sandwich between his thighs. And that was why he was able to cross the first security checkpoint before detonating his IED, targeting the civilian JTF officials. We are working in partnership with the armed forces, the police, as usual, with the Civil Defense Corps, to make sure these people are given very, very serious sensitive. And as these people change their tactics, the intelligence community is also going back to the drawing board to change the tactics of checkmating them as well.
Let's cross over to Abuja now. Here's Gloria Umezuke. Gloria?
Hello, Ijoma. The 2018 budget has been laid before the two chambers of the National Assembly. The lawmakers will debate the budget proposal on Wednesday, May the 16th, while Thursday, May the 17th has been fixed for the eventual passage of the bill. President Muhammadu Buhari presented a budget proposal of 8.6 trillion naira to the National Assembly on November the 17th, 2017. Our correspondent, Terry Ikumi, has the report.
It's been back and forth on when exactly the 2018 budget would be passed.
And hopefully we'll be passing the budget on the 24th of April 2018.
For sure, when we come back on Tuesday, they will lay the report, and by Wednesday we'll be approving it.
President Buhari had presented a budget of 8.612 trillion naira before a joint session of the National Assembly. Almost 6 months later, the appropriations committees of both the Senate and House of Representatives separately lay the budgets before their respective chambers. In the House of Representatives, one of the highlights of the bill is the difference between the figures in the budget laid by the President and that of the House Committee on Appropriations. While the President presented a budget of 8.612 trillion naira, the House Committee on Appropriations returned with a budget of 9.120 trillion naira, showing an increase of over 500 billion naira. However, that of the Senate is yet to be known.
I rise to move that the House do receive the report of the Committee on Appropriations on a bill for an act to authorize the issue from the Consolidated Revenue Fund of the Federation, the total sum of
9,320,134,988,225 naira.
Members are enjoined to pick copies of the budget by starting from 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. And by tomorrow afternoon, we'll pass. If we are not able to finish, we'll finish on Thursday. Thank you very much.
The 2017 budget expires in May, by which time the 2018 budget is expected to start running. As the budget debate begins in the National Assembly, questions regarding why the increase in the budget returned by the House of Representatives Committee on Appropriations and whether the National Assembly will stand by its words and pass the budget before the end of plenary on Thursday are expected to be answered. Terry Ikumi, Channels Television News.
The Senate and House of Representatives Joint Committee investigating the invasion of the National Assembly has summoned Senator Ovie Omogege and Senator Ali Ndume. The lawmakers are to appear before the committee on Wednesday, May the 16th, to explain their alleged roles in the invasion of the National Assembly and the theft of the mace from the Senate's chamber. The committee at a previous sitting listened to testimonies from the heads of different security agencies in the National Assembly, explaining how the hoodlums gained access to the National Assembly and made away with the Senate mace. The mace was later recovered by the police in Abuja after a tip-off from a Good Samaritan. Attempts to impeach the Speaker of the Kano State House of Assembly, Mr. Abdullahi Atta, have been temporarily halted after security operatives refused to allow the lawmakers access into the Assembly complex. The 24 lawmakers who have signed the impeachment notice are accusing the police of stopping them from carrying out their constitutional duties. Our correspondent, Idris Jibrin, reports.
With the arrival of these 24 lawmakers who have signed the impeachment notice against the Speaker, Abdullahi Atta, and his deputy, all appear set for the removal of the two leaders of the State House of Assembly. However, they ran into a brick wall in the form of the police and operatives of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, who denied them access to the hallowed chamber.
We have tried our possible best to ensure we remove and impeach him tomorrow, yesterday. But unfortunately, police has barricaded the entrance, as you can see. No movement, you cannot even enter, you cannot even come out. That is why we now went back and strategized. We now decided to come back today and present our case, the removal of the two principal officers of the House.
All efforts to get the reactions of the Speaker, Abdullahi Atta, and his deputy, Hamisu Ibrahim, prove abortive, since they cannot be reached either by phone or at their homes. But the spokesman of the group seeking their impeachment insists that with or without police intervention, they will be removed.
You see, we have done what is right now to get the numbers. It's more important. You know, they cannot keep closing the assembly premises forever. So whenever we get into the assembly premises, we confirm and ratify the decision we have to.
As it is now in Kano State, we only have Speaker and Deputy Speaker. All other principal officers have been removed. Idris Jubrin, Channels Television News.
But just before President Muhammadu Buhari inaugurated the new EFCC office today, he had launched the Jigawa State Social Intervention Program in Dutse to end his two-day official visit to the state. The scheme is aimed at boosting agriculture through empowering and funding farmers in the state towards increased production. President Buhari said he is pleased with what the state government has done towards improving agriculture, especially the commitment to return to the farms and impact on irrigation.
The arrival of President Muhammadu Buhari at the Dutse International Airport for the commencement of his two-day working visit to Jigawa State, northwest of the country. He looks pleased with the reception by residents of the state. From here, the president heads to the palace of the Emir of Dutse, Nuhu Muhammad, where he commends the efforts of the government, particularly in the area of potable water supply.
So when we came, the progression was interfered by the militants, and the price went down to 37, 38. When you visit the states and at the federal level, you can see what this administration, both at center and at the states, have been doing with much less resources.
President Buhari then heads to town to see the project executed by the state government and to commission some of them. Day 2 of the visit sees the president inspecting a mini agri show and inaugurating the state social intervention program. But first, the governor commenced the federal government social empowerment program.
In Jigawa, we have about 45,000 people who benefit from the social intervention fund of 5,000 naira monthly. Many youths also benefit from the NPAR program.
Aside the state water project, one other thing the president commends the state for is its return to the farm.
I am excited about what I have seen the Jigawa State Governor do over the last 3 years. I have seen the commitment of the people to return to the farms. I have also seen the impact of irrigation, which was abandoned for more than 10 years. We have stopped the importation of rice, and this is for the good of our country.
The president has since departed from Jigawa State, but he has set the tone for the social welfare scheme meant for minor projects to get to all the wards across the state.
Thinking about the people.
When the news at 10 returns, Minister of Power recommends facility management as panacea to unemployment of Nigeria's teeming population. That's some business news. Please join us again.